Hello, Gemini, and welcome to Scouts Tarot, where curiosity and the divine align. This is your January 2022 reading, and this is for Sun, Moon, and Rising signs within the zodiac sign of Geminis. All right, so as always, apologies in advance for any extraneous outdoor noise you hear, like cars, sirens, trucks, things like that. I just happen to live outside a busy thoroughfare, so background noise can't be helped. Don't have a soundproof room. What are you gonna do? Okay, so we're gonna dive right into your reading, Gemini. So coming off the month of December in your previous read, if you've seen it, great. If not, we'll do a quick review. But it focused a lot on your past in terms of that Six of Cups energy. Sometimes it's our past selves, who we were as children, or who we wanted to be when we grew up. And then elements of, nostalgia to a degree. But the Six of Cups energy for me is always like that Peter Pan energy, especially for air signs, and definitely for Geminis, who do have a more youthful, vibrant energy about them that can be misconstrued as being immature or shallow, superficial, blah, blah, blah. So the energy throughout the month of November focused heavily on either trying to find where you can be your authentic self, whether that's in a project, with a person in a new place, on, the job that you're doing, things like that. Like, where can you express yourself in a sincere way where you don't feel like you either have to lie to yourself, which was that Seven of Swords energy that was going into, that was ending the month of December, going into January, where you have to, either pretend to be something that you're not, or lie to yourself and say that it's going to work out, that it's not that bad, it could be worse, and basically in a position where you're trying to rationalize a shit situation, Gemini. That's really what it feels like. And sometimes it's a shit situation because of somebody else, like say it's a manager, a person you're trying to build a partnership or romantic connection with. It could be a project that you initiated that's just not going the way you want it to because of whatever reason, that you find yourself in a position where it's just no thanks. It's just not happening. So a lot of the energy focused on in December, trying to reconnect and reflect on who it is you want to be in the world and how you can, what do you need to feel comfortable, Gemini, is really what it comes down to. Where do you feel comfortable that you can express your youthful, playful side and not feel judged or feel like you got to hide that part of yourself, where you got to, put away your Six of Cups energy and bring out your Queen of Swords energy, who's a little bit more harsh, more direct, more cold, and someone that you've had to be in the past, but you don't always want to be in the present. Which brings us to our first card here. So that was a big rewind, but there you go. Presents our first card in the month of January 2022 is the Five of Swords energy. And this is a lot about the conflict, the energy we have after a conflict is done with, right? It could be regret, it could be there's still some hostility in your system, maybe. There is this energy of with the Seven of Swords being if I have to lie to myself to make this work, then so be it. Or if someone's lying to me and I am willing to believe it because I really want it to work type thing, you then find yourself with this lower Five of Swords energy of that painful, I kind of just walked into this fight. It's not where I want it to be. It's this conflicting energies of, regret, grief, pain, and not something you obviously want to take on, Gemini, right? Like, no one wants to be in the Five of Swords energy. It can represent the ability to learn, right? That you can pick up the swords and be like, yep, that hurt. That was a trigger. That was some childhood trauma rearing itself. You have the opportunity to pick up those swords. But right now, what I'm feeling is that going into January, you're like, God damn it. Friggin' frack. It's, to me, it's like this kind of energy of you're just trying to walk away, right? You're done with it. You drop the sword. You're done. You just want to, get to the river here and have some time to process what just happened. That the energy up here, this guy who's picking up all the swords and just trying to collect the pieces and start over type thing. It's that's how I'm feeling going into January, Gemini, is that you dealt with a lot. You had to cut some things out. You had to handle your business in order to either leave something behind, move on from something else, remove people from your space or projects from your space, jobs. Maybe it's actually you have to look into moving, whatever it might be, Gemini. You had to make some tough calls, and now you have this Five of Swords energy, which is just like, God, I'm just. Four of Swords is about that like rest and moment to take a step back. The Five of Swords is like what happens after you're done with the battle itself, after you're done with the conflict and the challenge and the hurdle, and it's the immediate aftermath. And now it's like, okay, now you got to pick up the pieces and it's time to start again. Which brings us to the Four of Wands energy throughout the month of January. That the hard part is behind you, right? You need to take the time throughout the month of January to really celebrate the victories that you've had, the wins that you've experienced, the good things that you've had, Gemini. That, yeah, December was tough, November wasn't easy, October was a challenge. Like you've had a rough couple of months here, Gem. Like this isn't to be like, Four of Wands is like a very celebratory energy. It's not to be like, ooh, after all that hardship, time to have a party. It's you survived that shit, right? And look at what you gained from it. Look at what you learned from it, right? Look at the progress you've made, the development. Celebrate that shit. Like this is not, I don't know why I'm cursing so much, Gemini. You're bringing out the color in me here. You need to take that time to celebrate your victories here, to recognize that there are qualities and values and things that you've done that deserve to be celebrated, to be recognized. And as great as it is to have like your boss recognize it, to have that time with friends and family, to celebrate those wins, sometimes you got to do that for yourself, right? You got to sit back and be like, you know what? I did finish that project on time and it was bomb as hell. Or I did surprise my partner with a great, anniversary gift or something like that. And while, yeah, we were going through a hard time, like we had to battle it out a little bit. We had some disagreements. We at least handled it like adults, and we need to celebrate that, right? Like we did the thing. So I feel like the energy throughout January is that you need to recognize, acknowledge, and celebrate you. And if the people around you are doing that, fantastic, love it, lean into it. If they're not, that's okay. Geminis, we can rise solo. I am a Gemini sun. We can rise solo and we can celebrate ourselves. We don't necessarily need to have an audience to recognize our value and placement in the world. Like we know that we top shit. But, it doesn't hurt to have a friend or two to celebrate with you, to bring in that social aspect. Which now brings us to the energy leaving the month of January and going into February. And that is the 10 of Cups. This is like that ultimate emotional fulfillment, Gemini. For some, this is like, happy family, happy life, happy wife, happy all that. For you, this spread going from January into February, I think this is, as you're acknowledging these wins, you're going to realize just how fulfilling those wins are, right? It may seem small at first, but the more you take the time to recognize your value, Gemini, to recognize your worth within your friendship groups, your family, the projects that you're working on, the job that you do, the place that you live, the things that you get to partake in, the more you recognize that, the more you'll find just how fulfilling those experiences are, those relationships are, that those moments are. And that the more you recognize that, the more that will come to you, right? Sometimes it's hard to recognize, when something good is happening to us, when we're so used to seeing the crappy side of life. When you take a moment to, walk away and look at life from a different perspective, like this fellow here in the Five of Swords energy, not only have they turned their back on the swords, the conflict, the hurdles, the challenges, the rough side of it all, the tough words that were exchanged, or the cold, hard decisions that had to be made that sucked, but they had to happen, that, that Seven of Swords energy as well, of, sometimes when we stop lying to ourselves, the hard truth comes out, and it can be little stabby, right? Can hurt. We need to take that time to take a moment to acknowledge, the things that we have learned, the things that we have gained, and celebrate that, recognize that, acknowledge that, celebrate you, Gemini. And the more you do that, the more you find like, oh yeah, that was good stuff. And I can celebrate that. You're looking for that emotional fulfillment. And if that's with the partner, then celebrate that partner as well, right? Go out and tell them what it is. Or if it's with a job or a project, be like, yeah, you know what? I did have a lot of fun doing that job. It was everything else in my life was tough, but at least I was able to get this done. And look at the people who found value in that. Celebrate that and find that emotional fulfillment. So now we're going to slide into the Oracle of the Seven Energies deck to get some spiritual guidance around the Five of Swords energy. This is energy coming out of December and into January 2022. And in my magic, spiritually aligned, what advice do we have for dear sweet Gemini, celestial divine? Can I get one card, please? One card. All right, let's see. What are we working with here, Gem? I know it's been a tough time legit, trying to find our authentic self, to find a space where we don't feel like we have to hide ourselves or we have to pretend that we're happy or secure. When, as an air sign, sure, like very flexible, we can adapt to the situation, great. But there comes a point in time where adapting just hurts too much, right? Where you take out all of yourself in order to be in a space that's not really you anymore, Gemini. Like, you can only pretend for so long until, you lose yourself in it. Okay, almost. That was almost. Can we get one card, please, Spirit? What does Gemini need to know? Because December was tough, right? December was not fun. So this, that's just what I'm feeling like. That's Seven of Swords energy now leading to Five of Swords energy. It's just, to me, is by pulling back the veil and looking at the cold hard truth and dealing with it face to face, or at least, head on, has left you in a place of shatteredness. Yeah, that's what it is. That the Seven of Swords, if you see that card, the person is carrying 5 of the 7 swords. And here are the 5 swords scattered about, right? I feel like this is aspects of you trying to pick up those pieces, Gemini. So what advice do we have, Celestial Divine? Because Gemini could use a word or two. Let's see, can we get one card, please? 1 or 2, but 1 is preferred, por favor. Okay, there it is. All right, let's see. So we have Beyond the Ordinary, and that is number 45. Ooh, that is a beautiful looking card, too. Oh, come on, just don't do it. Do the thing. Okay, so I shall read it. I'll hold it up a little bit as well so you can get a better look. Beyond our ordinary worlds, defined by our memory, our intellect, and our 5 senses, is a mystical realm of beauty, magic, and extraordinary potential. This is the spiritual realm, the quantum reality, called by some the Great Mystery. This place doesn't operate under the same laws we're used to, but rather has its own way of working that is perfect. Though hard for us to understand. Ooh, I ruined that sentence. I'm gonna try that again, Gemini. This place doesn't operate under the same laws we're used to, but rather has its own way of working that is perfect, though hard for us to understand. When you want to know what is to come, the nature of something, or where you're heading, it's natural to turn to a trusted oracle and expect some kind of answer that will inform your view of how things are, might be, or should be. Sometimes, Gemini, this is not possible because the elements cannot be named or are not yet in place. Things may still be in flux, so you cannot know and may never be meant to know. No matter how hard you try to understand why something happened or how or when it will happen, now is the time to surrender to not knowing. Ooh, that is some 5 of Swords energy. You're in a place, Gemini, where as an air sign, you rely on your intellect, your ability to communicate, the logical rationalization that you possess to make sense of the world around you, right? You're the toddler type to pick something up and be like, okay, so it's round, it's soft, it bounces, it's a ball, done, next. Like, you're able to deduce reality around you by using your five senses. Going beyond the five senses is what this card is asking. It's saying what happened has happened, and you might not be able to explain it. You may not understand how you ended up in this situation, or why this experience or relationship or job, disintegrated into what it was, why you had to, unveil your truth and leave the situation behind, or cut a person out, whatever it was that radically shifted around you, Gemini. You may not be able to rationally explain it. There is no answer to it, Gemini. And that's difficult. It's hard because you want to know the answers, right? It's only natural to want to know. I'm going to jump back into the book. No matter how hard, we just read that. The mystery is a mystery because it is, at present, unknowable and as yet unmade. Even its potential is impossible to understand, right? Oh God, I just said, in a world of what if, anything is possible, Gemini. And because anything is possible, it's impossible to know what could or would or might happen. That's just what it is, right? The potential for what could be exists in a plane that has an infinite number of possibilities. That maybe if you had decided to do this instead of that, maybe this is what could have happened. Yeah, sure. Maybe if you had said yes to this job instead of that job, or you moved here instead of there, if you said yes instead of no, left instead of right, any number of things could have happened. It could have turned out the way you wanted, or turned out completely different, or turned out exactly the same. We don't know. Again, in a world of what if, anything is possible. Okay, back to the book. What is waiting for you lies beyond the ordinary, but it has not yet chosen its shape, its path, and the manner by which it will be delivered. Your job, Gemini, is to stay the course, allowing whatever comes to be exactly as it will, without trying to ascertain anything in advance. Oh my God. Whew, that is some powerful shit. Just trying to use tarot to explain what happened in December or what happened in November or October, Gemini, is you trying to deduce or ascertain what happened. And what this card is saying is that you're not going to get that answer, right? You're never going to fully know or understand what could have happened. What if you had done this, would it have been different, right? If you had done that, would you now be in such and such place, in this job, in this relationship, in this partnership, in this place? You're not going to know those answers. And the advice here is, and that's the way it's supposed to be. And you have to rely on the fact that when you're on your path, Gemini, and you reach that destination, when you reach that next step along your journey, that is the confirmation you will receive that will let you know, like, yes, all of this happened and it brought me to this place in my life. It brought me to this person, brought me to this job, etc., etc. Only after it's happened will you finally understand why it worked out the way it did. And you can't force it. And you have to step beyond that expectation, the being able to understand your reality using your five senses. That's not going to work. If you haven't noticed, if you've been trying to figure out and find answers and try to explain, like, the reason I made this choice is because blah, 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 blah. And there's still that little voice in the back of your head that's like, well, actually, if you chose blah, 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 maybe it could have been this. That little voice is the logical part of your mind trying to basically explain to you all the possibilities, saying that, see, maybe it could have been like this if you had done that, and blah, 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 blah. That's not helpful. You got to step beyond that ordinary thinking and just accept that what has happened, and it happened the way it did. We cannot change the past, so why are you trying to change your future based off of something you cannot change? Step beyond that ordinary, dimensional thinking. 3-dimensional thinking? 2-dimensional. Linear thinking. There you go. All right. Ooh, that was a long one. But it felt like I needed to spend some time breaking this down for you, Gemini. Like, it just feels like it's been, I know I had a tough month, but like I know that there are other Geminis in my life who have had similar, hurdles and challenges, that it just aligns so well that it just felt right to spend a little bit more time on that card. But we're now going to slide into the Wisdom of the Hidden Realms Oracle deck to get some clarity on our Four of Wands energy. Oh, jeez. Okay. Didn't even get a chance to say my little thing. We have the Winged Wise Ones. 34. Here we go. Somebody got this last month. I don't remember who it was. It might have been Aquarius, maybe Pisces. I don't know. Sorry, this is all I can say. It's a lot of signs, Gemini. Okay. So the Winged Wise Ones. The Winged Wise Ones represent the aid of all the angels. When you enter their realm, know that your sincere prayers will be answered according to the will of the divine. This represents divine intervention and the potential of miracles to heal and transform as if by magic. All right, Four of Wands, celebration, huh? Celebrating what exactly? Is it that connection that we have and with that divine, spirit above? Is it, let me keep reading. Here we go. Before I just start answering questions, before I have the full breakdown here. So have faith, Gemini. Whatever your circumstances, heavenly beings are watching over you. The Winged Wise Ones give you a glimpse of the future by offering messages whispered on the wind. These are translated within you as inspired thought, instantly unraveling the past and revealing the present. There we go. Be aware of the higher consciousness in you. This is a good time to observe your thoughts through meditation. Who is observing those thoughts? That self is kin to the Winged Wise Ones who have come to help you soar. Ooh, very interesting. Okay. So Winged Wise Ones, yeah. Angelic connections, that higher consciousness, that divine intervention, and messages of confirmation from spirit. When you're in a place or in a position where something has so radically shifted for you that it's so difficult to comprehend what has happened that you are digging anywhere for answers, sometimes we become blind to the spirit around us, that we become so cut off from our living realities, our present mind. We become stuck in the past and in cycles, Gemini, that we just get caught in the hamster wheel, in that spiraling thought pattern, which is not helpful, right? You don't want to be stuck in this Five of Swords energy. You've already unlifted the veil with that Seven of Swords energy. Why are you going to get stuck in the past with the Five of Swords energy? The constantly circling and asking questions, trying to figure out, like, where did it go wrong? How did I, mess this up? Or why did it get messed up? How did I end up in this position? Blah, blah, blah. When you take that step back, right? And you shift beyond the ordinary and you take that exhale and spend the month of January instead focus on the positives, right? Things that you've gained, celebrating those things that mean and matter so much to you and to those around you. You will allow the divine spirit above and around us to I don't want to be like to reach in and like and intervene, but you may find yourself as you're celebrating those moments with those inspired thoughts, those like, oh yeah, I remember, such and such. Or maybe one night you have a dream and you think about something positive that happened throughout this spiraling, throughout the conflict and the hurdles and the challenges you dealt with in the fall, October, November, December, that within all that you may have a flashback of a memory, like, oh, right. And by doing that, the winged wise ones will allow you to, again, help you celebrate those positive moments, right? You want to live in the present. It'll help you, again, unravel some of the issues of the past, allow you to see some of the flowers that blossomed from the seeds that were dropped in the dirt, right? That some of those didn't just end up in the drain, that they actually did get planted. There are some seeds of joy in the troubled past. Allow the winged wise ones to nurture those seeds and you to celebrate them, right? You see, oh yeah, right. Look at this beautiful bounty at the top. You want to celebrate those wins, those little joys, the big joys, because you've earned it, right? There's value in acknowledging those aspects of the past. Only remembering the bad stuff or the challenging aspects continues, that negative experience and that hamster wheel, that spiraling effect. The winged wise ones don't, they want to help pull you out of the hamster wheel and allow you to walk freely. All right, Gemini, let me wrap this up because I thought this was going to be 15 minutes and we are blowing full past that. So, okay, so our last card, the 10 of Cups energy. We're going to ask the super attractor cards for some advice, tips, some sort of words of wisdom moving forward from the divine. And it's already popped out. Okay, this is tiny font, so I'm going to turn it. I let an inner sense of quiet multiply each day as I strengthen my faith in the love of the universe. Ooh, we were asking about that emotional fulfillment, right, Gemini? Like that 10 of Cups energy coming out of January and going into February is, where do you find your emotional fulfillment? Where do you find yourself in a loving experience, whether that's with others around you, if that's in your home, if it's with friends, if it's, as you're celebrating these moments here, you start collecting them in these cups, right? You're saving them, you're holding on to them, not because you don't want to let them go, but because they fulfill you. You want to be empowered by the positive, experiences and partnerships, friendships, families, experiences, moments, all that. And by doing so, by letting yourself, appreciate those moments, you're able to draw strength from those moments, right? That these cups are filled with power that allows you to move forward, that allows you to embrace your authentic self. Because remember, back in December, one of the biggest challenges was that six of Cups energy, where you may not have been able to feel like your playful self, right? You weren't able to embrace the youthful energy that allows you to express yourself more fully. 10 of Cups energy, when you're in a fulfilled emotional state, you do get to have that opportunity to express yourself authentically. And this card is telling you, advising you to, take the time, meditate, allow the winged wise ones to guide you along this path as you are celebrating those small victories, those big victories, those joyous moments, the things that you have accomplished, Gemini, that you're allowing yourself to fill up these cups. And as you take a sip from them every day, a little bit here, a little bit there, moments of appreciation, of gratitude, of acknowledgement, little bits here and there, that you're able to strengthen your faith in the love of the universe, right? And the universe will come through for you, right? The universe will match the energy that you put into it. And if you focus on the dark spiraling, past, and don't allow the present to feed into the seeds that you have planted, whether they grew or not in the past, doesn't matter. What matters now is the present. And if you allow yourself to water those seeds with the positive experiences, with the small acknowledgments and expressions of gratitude, you'll fill up those cups, you'll water that garden, and you'll find yourself in a true, strong position of love. Oof, oh my goodness. Well, I hope that resonated, Gemini, because good lordy, lordy, lordy. But yes, that was for Sun, Moon, and Rising in Gemini. Please do like, share, subscribe to Scouts Tarot, and comment as you like. and I will see you all in February.